Hey everybody, Jennifer Schaus here. We're coming to you live today from Washington, D.C., and thanks for joining us in our Webinar Wednesday series. Today we're covering CACI or CACI, depending upon your pronunciation, so thanks for joining us. All of our webinars are complimentary and recorded. We've amassed a library of over 600 complimentary government contracting videos. You can find those all on our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you hop over there and subscribe to our channel, give some of our videos a like or a comment. And if you're looking just for the PowerPoint, you can hop over to slideshare.net and log in with your LinkedIn credentials. It's also complimentary, it won't cost you anything, and you can download the PowerPoints there because a lot of them have active links in them. Okay, a quick blurb about us. We are based in downtown DC. It's a beautiful sunny day here today with blue skies. So again, thanks for joining us on your perhaps lunch hour. We do work with established government contractors and primarily help them with contract vehicles, including the GSA schedule. We also do some market research, so we can pull market intelligence reports to help you refine your B2G strategy. We've got some proposal writers, marketing gurus, and contract admin experts on our team as well. So any of those additional services we can certainly help you with. Throughout the year, we put on various events and conferences. And if you check our website under the event section, you can find some of those. In the event that your company is actually selling to federal contractors, we have opportunities to sponsor our webinars. You can place an ad in our newsletter. We can make some posts for you on LinkedIn, and we've got a variety of other options as well, including some sponsored content. If you want our media kit, you can send us an email to the hello@jenniferschaus.com email address, and we'll send you our pricing. Okay, some upcoming events and specialty webinars. Tomorrow we're putting a webinar on with our friends over at Visible Thread. It's complimentary. It starts at 12 o'clock Eastern. The link there may not be easy to remember, so if you hop over to our website and click on the section called Events, even though this is a webinar, it's not an actual in-person event. You can scroll down, everything's listed there chronologically, and you can click to register. Again, it's complimentary webinar with Visible Thread, and that's tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern. It will be recorded, so if you can't make it, you'll find the recording on our website. A little bit further out, February of 2024, which actually isn't really that much, not too far out. We've got a marketing class that we're putting on with the Virginia PTAC, which is now an Apex Accelerator. That link is also in the event section. And I don't believe that that is, this is now irrelevant. The GSA or ACES proposals were due on Friday the 20th, so you've kind of missed the boat there. We do want to thank our sponsors, which is what makes the webinars complimentary. So let me just move on to our next slide. We want to thank our friends at GovEvents. They are the premier platform for posting events related to government and government contracting. You can find all of our webinars and our events on govevents.com, as well as recordings from our past 600 webinars. We also want to thank Tom Johnson and his team at Set Aside Alert. They are the go-to publication for contracting opportunities for small, women-owned, veteran-owned, hub-zone, and 8A firms. You can visit setasidealert.com for more information. Additionally, the Fairfax Economic Development Authority has an online calendar of events and webinars, and we want to thank them for posting our events and webinars on their calendar. The Virginia PTAC, where we often teach classes, is headquartered over at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. They offer free one-on-one counseling to established government contracting firms in Virginia on federal, state, and local procurement topics. If you're interested in learning more, please use the links provided to explore services, review homework recommendations, register for live training, and find useful links to agencies and other self-directed learning. Online resources and group trainings are free with no restriction on your business location. One-on-one counseling is, however, limited to eligible client companies. So you've got email address there, as well as phone number and some links. Again, you can get those links by downloading the PowerPoint from SlideShare. The Reston Chamber of Commerce has already had their meeting for October. Their next meeting will be the last Tuesday, or I'm sorry, the 4th Tuesday in November. We'll get an updated slide there. And then the FBC, excuse me, the Federal Business Council. Events are the ultimate engagement channel to bring government and industry together. 68% of government personnel report that they attend more than one event each year. The FBC has worked with government and industry for 45+ years to create gatherings where ideas are shared and to help government achieve its goals. This includes agency industry days, cybersecurity symposiums, tech expos, and offsite meetings. FBC provides full life cycle meeting planning and event management. With over 5,000 meetings under their belt, FBC has the experience, systems, and personnel to make your next event exceptional. Learn more at fbcinc.com. Bid speed. If you want help winning government contracts, BidSpeed helps and you win. Find opportunities from every federal, state, local, and public source in the U.S. BidSpeed can help you find teaming partners, incumbent point of contact, expiring contracts, and also provide you with a compliance matrix and proposal templates. BidSpeed is an official partner of the SBA's 7J Management and Technical Assistance Program. Get started today at bidspeed.com. GovSpend and FedMine, and so we want to thank them because they have provided all of the data in this series, in this webinar series this year, as well as the series that we did last year, which was the top vendors within each department. So the contracting data, again, in this series is provided by the GovSpend and FedMine platform. They are the leading source of data, analytics, and insight for government contractors. They integrate data from 18 federal data sources and sets and create a single database that places the key data points at your fingertips. The platform now provides contract opportunities within thousands of entities at federal, state, local, and educational organizations. With the acquisition of FedMine in 2021, the combined FedMine and GovSpend solution empowers teams to make smarter decisions. Again, thank you to GovSpend and FedMine for providing the data in the webinar series this year and in previous years. Okay, a little bit about the series and our schedule, and then we're going to dig into the content. Again, everything is complimentary and recorded. You can get today's recording on our YouTube channel, and you can get the slides over on SlideShare by logging in with your LinkedIn credentials. Both are complimentary. Everything in red we have covered. We started in February. We're going to end in the next couple of weeks here. Today we're covering CACI or CACI. We'll close out the series with a good old big pharma company, GlaxoSmithKline on November 15th. These are all Wednesday at 12 o'clock. We're assuming that most companies are participating so that they can learn about subcontracting opportunities with these larger businesses. So first and foremost, you want to make sure you are familiar with the FAR and DFAR regulations, particularly as they relate to subcontracting. So FAR Part 44. And then the DFARS Part 244, you want to make sure that you are aware of any of the flow down clauses that will affect your business. Those links will take you to the recordings on our YouTube channel that we covered on both the FAR and the DFARS. Some other webinars that we did on subcontracting, we kicked off the series in early February on subcontracting with the primes. It was a fairly lengthy but value-packed webinar, covering everything from market research all the way through to post-award compliance for subcontracting. The YouTube link is there. In last year, 2022, we did subcontracting with all 15 of the federal departments. The data, again, was provided by the friends over at GovSpend and FedMine. And then over the years, we've amassed a library of over 30+ webinars on the strategic and tactical aspects of subcontracting. Okay, some best practices. If you are in fact subcontracting or perhaps new to subcontracting or haven't been successful at subcontracting, you probably want to refine some of these pieces here that we're going to discuss briefly. First is define what it is you do and do well, and be known as the best in your industry at doing just that. Don't try to be everything to everybody. It won't work. Number two, you want to identify and be very specific about the opportunities where you're adding value. So when people say, oh, we're selling to HHS or we're selling to CMS, That's not good enough. I would say you really need to be specific. What's the opportunity that you're chasing? What's the RFI that you've responded to? Or what's the RFP that's coming out for recompete in the next 9 to 12 months? And what is it that separates you from the pack? Do you have a lower price? Hopefully that's not really what you're leading with. Hopefully you're leading with more of a relationship or some superior capability or something that, again, will set you aside from the rest. Once you have identified these opportunities and you know who the main players are, whether these are possible competitors or possible partners, you want to sleuth as much as possible. So go into all of the databases that are out there or use one of the paid data aggregators, including GovSpend and FedMine, as well as any of the other sponsors that we mentioned today, or just sift through the SAM.gov, the USA Spending and FPDS and all the other public data sites out there to really know who it is you're working with or that you potentially want to work with. And then after you have done that, you want to continue doing homework by going onto the company website, signing up for Google Alerts about any news that may positively or negatively impact the business. Are they selling off their government division? Have they acquired another company that perhaps you've got a really good relationship with? Or are they going out of business? Have they violated some terms and conditions of their contract that now puts them on the excluded parties list? So make sure that you know everything there is to know about the business. You want to find out what events they're attending, sign up for their newsletter. So just know everything that you can about that business. And we're going to give you some information today that will help. But once you've got that, that will give you some ammunition to decide if you want to work with that company or not. If it's a yes, then take the time and effort to then customize your capability statement for the particular solicitation, as well as the partner, and then marry that together by what it is you're bringing to the table that's going to be valuable to them. Once you've done all that, then I would say it's kind of a green light time to go to their website and register as a small business vendor, either in their small business database or sometimes it'll be diversity and outreach or whatever it is that's on their website. Sign up for their newsletter. Again, look at the events. What associations are they members of? Are you also a member there? Connect with them on LinkedIn and look for the small business liaison officer as well as program managers and make sure you know the difference. And make sure that once you contact them that you have a specific solicitation, specific opportunity that you want to talk to them about. Don't make the SBLOs or the program managers do your homework for you. That's not why they're there. That's incumbent upon you, and that will make you more successful. Okay, I'm just going with the pronunciation of CACI here. If you want to call it CACI, so be it. But that's who we're profiling today, number 37. In our list of 40. So some basic information. We've got the company website, pretty self-explanatory. They are publicly traded. They've been a public company since 1968. And you can see here they're on the New York Stock Exchange and their stock price is fairly healthy here. You can see that after 2004, probably around 2010 or so is really when things kind of took off for them, and looking fairly healthy in the last 5 years as well. And the small business registration, so if you go to their website, they've got a section there for partners that should get you part of the way there. The profile here that we've extracted from SAM.gov gives you their UEI number. They are based in Reston, have about 20,000 employees. Their LinkedIn information, again, if you want to do business with them, make sure that you go over to LinkedIn and follow them, and that will help you stay abreast of any company news as they publish it. John Mengucci, who's done a lot of time at Lockheed Martin, has been at the helm there since February of 2012. And if you look at his profile, he has spent more time at Lockheed than what we're showing here. We just kind of ran out of space on the page. I encourage you to follow him. I'm not sure how many posts he's going to be making on LinkedIn, but also follow him and follow the company to stay abreast of news that will impact the business and your business potentially with him. I've got a young lady here who is their SBLO. Don't contact her unless you have a specific message to include with your LinkedIn request. And that message should be about a specific opportunity. Okay, now if we dig into the contracts, we're going to look at the civilian, the defense, and then the independent agencies that CACI, CACI does business with. Leading the charge here is the bulk of the work is at DHS, and we just only went back to 2020, so you can see that revenue is significantly increasing. They got a big bump 2020 to 2021 and even into 2022 and continued for 2023. So outlook is probably pretty good for 2024, but those numbers more or less tower over the next, we'll say, departments down. So if you look at DOJ, still healthy there. And still increasing, but I'd bring your attention over to State Department and Department of Interior, where those numbers have significantly increased. So if you look at State Department, they go from, particularly in 2022, fiscal year 2022 to 2023, so they've more than doubled in 2022 to 2023. And then same thing for Interior, they go from 13 million to 30 million. So something there is happening. They've got an increase there at Department of Ag as well, but obviously those numbers are not as large. The VA also got a nice bump of about 10 million. So if we look at the totals, the sector totals across the bottom, we do see steady growth there for the work that CACI is doing in the civilian world. So they go from, what is that, 351 million up to 508 last fiscal year. And these numbers are comprehensive. Obviously, the fiscal year ended on September 30th. So these numbers are complete, unlike what we're going to see for DoD, because they are 3 months behind. So let's go ahead and move to our next slide here. When we look at the work that they're doing with DoD, from fiscal year 2020 to 2021, we saw an increase, and then 21 to 22 and 22 to 23, a little bit of a decrease, and those are across the totals at the bottom. But if we look at specifically the Air Force and Maine DoD, we do see significant increases year over year. So you probably want to dig a little bit further into the Air Force and Maine DoD to really understand what's happening there and what those contracts entail. Numbers here are obviously a lot larger than what we saw on the civilian side, particularly the sector totals. And again, the 2023 numbers are not complete, so there's some upside there. We won't have those numbers until the end of December, beginning of January, because again, there is a 3-month delay with DoD reporting. So it's probably I'd say a good chance that the fiscal year 2023 numbers will be an increase from what we see there in 2022, just based on I'll say speculation and gut feeling, but I'd encourage you to go back and take a look at those if that's in fact where the intersection of your business and CACI lies. On the independent side, if we look here, we've got growth primarily at GSA and NSA, and more or less overall across the other agencies. And then across the totals there at the bottom, the sector totals, we do see more or less an increase, a slight drop in 2021. That was due to some de-obligations there at SEC and some increased revenue at CPSC, and some others. So just be cognizant of that. But again, the numbers here on the independent side are larger than what we saw on the civilian side, but not as great as what we saw on DoD. So most of their work obviously is with DoD. Behind that then comes the independent agencies, and then behind that will be the civilian, if you're just looking at kind of sector totals. The top 5 NAICS codes, so what do they do and do well? They're primarily focused on the main NAICS code is the 511512, so Computer System Design Services. And we've got some numbers there from 2024, which is the current fiscal year, but obviously that is not including anything from DoD because they have yet to report. And obviously the bulk of the work is that, in fact, the Computer System Design Services. There are going to be more NAICS codes that they fall under, but these are just the top 5, so keep that in mind. On the civilian side, this is going to mirror everything that we saw from the earlier slides. So subcontracts are going to be contracts that are valued at $750,000 and above and require that subcontracting component. On the defense side, this will mirror everything that we saw in the last slides, the earlier slides. So again, your larger numbers are more or less showing up with the Navy and Air Force. And then we'll hop over here to the independent agencies. GSA by far is leading the charge. And keep in mind that just because GSA shows up, this does not mean that these are GSA scheduled purchases. This is work that they are doing specifically with GSA. So there could be a scheduled component to this, but this is just the overall revenue with the actual General Services Administration. And GSA does a lot, everything from schedules to the Public Building Service, and they maintain the website, all the public websites that you see, so USA Spending, FPDS, et cetera, SAM.gov, that's all maintained by GSA. So I believe that a lot of those contracts are with CACI. So if you've got a GSA schedule, you call the help desk, you're probably talking to an employee or a subcontractor of CACI. Okay, when we look at the breakdown here of who they're actually working with, GSA comes in at the top, towers over the others, Air Force and Army, as we saw before. And the lists go down here. Pretty fairly split between HHS, DHS, the VA, DOJ, and DLA. And we'll go ahead and look at the industry. So again, that top NAICS code is showing up here again. No surprise where the bulk of their work is. They get some R&D money as well, and some revenue also there for engineering services. And then somewhat more closely lumped together are going to be the other industry codes. So again, as I mentioned, there's more than 5 industry codes where their work falls, but it really focuses primarily again on the computer system design services, and then somewhat evenly split, if you want to look at it that way, between the R&D and the engineering services for their overall revenue. Let's look at the subcontractors they're working with. Carasoft, which is another Northern Virginia company that primarily helps company, it basically has their own GSA schedule and will help a lot of the IT companies and systems integrators sell through their own Carasoft schedule. Some other household names on here as well. Dell, who I think is one of the companies that we covered perhaps last week, or maybe it's next week, and some other companies here that you might recognize, Red River Technologies and others. And the top 5 subcontracts reported, so they are listed there, and you can look at the dollars. The amount there is on the far right hand side. It goes from low to high. So, and a pretty big, I'll say, discrepancy between if we look at the first row, so these are the subcontract dollars. This is R&D for engineering and life sciences at 19.3 million, and then the number 1 subcontractor there, Carasoft, coming in at 201 almost 202 million. So a big delta there between your number 1 and your number 5 slot. Okay, on the GWAC side, the government-wide acquisition contracts that they've got, it's the GSA Alliant 2, GSA Oasis, Alliant, and you can see the bulk of their work is through the, for just the contract vehicle side, that most of it is going through the Alliant 2. Okay, what's expiring on the 750 and above? And again, 750 is the threshold for subcontracting. And you can look at the numbers here. Again, I always find it interesting to look at the dollar amount compared to the number of transactions. So when we see the last row, CACI Incorporated Federal, at the 196 broken into 2 transactions versus go 3 lines up to 222 broken into 522 transactions. So some of these contracts are split into many pieces, others obviously are not. That's kind of the low and the high breakout there on those. Conclusions and just some other information about the company, which you should be aware of before you start having conversations with them and flapping your capability statement in front of them, is just know a little bit about the history of the company. They went public in 1968. As I mentioned, they've got roughly 20,000 employees, a good, I think 18,000 or so are showing up on LinkedIn. Primarily known for IT services and headquartered in Northern Virginia out in Reston. And actually, we've got the employees listed there twice, so I think that's an updated number with the 23,000. As we saw, a lot of their work is DHS, Homeland Security, Intelligence, and Healthcare. This is just a snapshot from their website, and it would be smart to dig into each of these components to see where it is you add value. They've done a great job of listing the trade shows that they're getting ready to attend. So a lot of times companies ask us, well, how can I meet people from the government, or how can I meet people from the primes? I don't know how to do it. Well, go to their website, find out what associations they belong to and join those same associations. Subscribe to their newsletter, connect with them on LinkedIn, look at the trade shows and events that they're attending, and obviously they are all listed here. So you can make yourself known by attending these events, shaking their hands, look at them eye to eye, and exchanging business cards. But I would say you want to go with a reason, and a reason being, or in other words, being a solicitation and opportunity. You don't want to show up to these companies and ask them what they can do for you. This is something where you should be bringing a piece of value to the table. Okay, just some headlines here that give you a little bit of insight into the company and some contracts that they've won with NSA and others, also with NASA and DCAA. That's basically it. So a lot of this will fall back into your lap as far as digging a little bit further to really understand where the devil is in the details. So looking at these contracts that we've highlighted to really find out what they are doing, what CACI is doing, and where the intersection lies that you are bringing something to them that would be valuable to them. So we hope that you've enjoyed the presentation, and hope you'll join us again next Wednesday. Again, today's webinar was complimentary and recorded. Find it on our YouTube channel. Give us a like over there. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll get alerts when our webinars are updated and uploaded. And if you're looking just for the PowerPoint, which has active links in it, you can find it on slideshare.net. And next week we are covering, in fact, Dell. And then we will close out again with GlaxoSmithKline on November 12th. Thanks again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next week.